Salve.
The 49 Beladies fetch again, with incessant labor, the water they have lost. Cerberus lifts his triple head, and lets out his threefold braying.
Livia, would you stop muttering like Medea over a cauldron? You'll scare away my customers.
They follow their trades, imitating their previous lives, but they are ignorant.
This again. You're in a world of your own, aren't you? Ah, you're here. And, I hope I'm not being too forward, but there's a light in your eyes I've never seen before. Ugh, coming on a bit strong. I take back what I said. Suddenly, I don't... Let's just forget that ever happened, so we can at least do business. You know, Norm... I guess that went wrong. As a matter of fact, I'm happy to tell you all about it, but this is valuable information we're talking about, and I don't... So... Well, I can't tell you. Simple. I think of it this way. I have some... If I do your... Well... I just... Certainly. How im... Ugh. All right. You stay away from my money. I love your clothes. Unless you want me to sew some hemlock into your next drink. Get out!
Just as the oak, but it does. The bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone. Some the house of the ruler of the depths. They know. There is only a downward path. Gloomy with fatal yew trees. It leads through dumb silence to the infernal... Help me? You cannot help me. It is better for you if you remain ignorant. And... The bloodless shadows... You think you wish to know. It is better for you if you remain ignorant. The newly...
What are you doing in here? Can't you see? She needs the resin of a plant called sylph. It's too late. No, no. I'm Lucretia, and I'm going to be straight with you. I'm not a physician. This is Navy. I'm tired and out of my depth and miserable. My husband and I moved to Rome from Caesarea. He embraced the Roman way more than I would have liked, and turned. I would have divorced him and demanded the return of my dowry, but I knew he would sooner have me so I waited for the right time to take what was mine and disappear. As he prepared to evacuate our villa, I gathered our most precious belongings, coins and I could barely see for the smoke, and the streets were full of people trampling each other. I ran for the river. The next thing I remember, I was waking up on a riverbank. It's all right. Say what you will about this place, and while there's no shortage of snakes here, at least with the golden rule. Oh, this shrine was kind of strange to set up a clinic in the temple, but the god who inflicts a curse is also the only god who can undo it. So I suppose praying to a... Well, she used to run the clinic. She was a midwife, not a physician, but she was the close until she suddenly lost all interest in us. One day she told me she'd made some profound This changes everything, she kept saying. But the last time I saw her, the last time any of us saw her, she was muttering to the statues. And then she shut herself in the palace, barred the door from the inside. And nobody. She's been gone so long now, we figure she's either dead or up to something so strange that she doesn't want any. But I really wish I could reach her, because that's the only hope I have of... One of my patients is suffering from terrible rheumatism. His joints are in... I really shouldn't say. He wouldn't like it. He's become so irritable that the smallest things set him off. And I worry he'll end up losing his temper and lashing up. I just know Nevia would know how to treat him, assuming she's still alive. But nobody's... Thanks, I suppose. I wish just... A city, but absolutely... Oh no. Sorry, I don't mean to worry you, but there was one other person who claimed she could hear, but... Well, she used to until the and the, she's but at one of he's big. I just know. Thank. Sure. Do you really want to know? I mean, if somebody poisoned her, then surely they would have broken the golden rule and... Hemlock, I believe. I haven't seen her in months. She's not allowed to leave Malleolus' villa, and they are quite secretive. Gladly. Well...
Name's Rufius. Better watch yours. Can't talk long. Got to stay sharp. Family's from Seleucia on Tigris, Babylon province. But I've been roaming a long time now. Same way as... Because we're all in grave danger. The magistrate made me toss it in the cat. If you... Nobody is supposed to know about that. Gah. Look, I haven't been at my best lately. I get stirred up by things that shouldn't bother me, and then there's the statues. And you want to help me? Do what Lucretia hasn't been able to do, and find find me. Ah. If I... Melio... No. I mean, all these people just bumble along like nothing's wrong. Seems like I'm the only one ready for what's coming. Whatever that is. I don't know. But did you ever get the feeling some of these statues are watching us? Of course I... What?
Ah, a fellow traveler from a faraway land. Greeting. And I must... Leather boots in place. I have traveled this... And never have I seen anyone dressed quite like you. Tell... Is this a riddle, or perhaps you mean to say you feel like you are ahead of your time? I feel the same. We will have much time here. My story? How kind of you to ask. You mean to say, with all the turmoil and terror of the Golden Rule, and so few customers, why bother? I'll tell you, it is precisely because of the Golden Rule that I wish to remind my friends of the importance of... I say, the more of our customs we preserve down here, the more we can preserve a semblance of normality, Well, if that doesn't persuade you, think of it. If we all end up as golden statues for future generations to marvel at. A good question. A very good question indeed. And I would be happy to take... I remember I had just been to Rome to sell an extraordinary selection of wares. And drowning in coin, I rented a prestigious villa by the Tiber, invited over a few, and we began making our way through some of the most exquisite wine money could... Now, I have had visions and awoken in strange places before. I have even found myself naked in the desert sands more than once, but this time, I remember people screaming, then falling into a void as empty as time before creation. Gasping. When I regained my faculties, I was lying naked by the banks of the Tiber, gods know how many miles. Indeed. I'm lucky I was carrying a little... In any case, it seems I'd been rescued and resuscitated. I went to find firewood for his campfire, stumbled across a cave, and discovered that trapdoor temple. Anything... Shh. Not... Have you not been told about the last attempt? Oh, then I suppose this duty falls to me. Of course, the first question any of us asks when we first arrive is, how do I... And scaling the chasm wall is out of the question, for it is simply too steep. But as they say, if the wind fails, use the oars. And here the second option is to leave the way we came in, through the shaft above the bathhouse. See, the shaft is quite high, but if one gathered up enough wood, one could make a series of ladders and climb one... They have! They even decided to keep records of their escape attempt for posterity. Unfortunately, as soon as they began to carry the first they heard a godlike voice shake the entire city, and that... tragic. So it seems that to merely attempt escape is to invite the wrath of whichever god oversees this place. And so I say, it is best to not... yeah. Have you not... When Demeter, the mother of Persephone, learned of this, she did not punish Hades, the guilty one. Innocent people died by the tens of thousands. So yes, we know this rule. This has always been... If we are to survive, avoid doing what you... It does, for even if, sadly, no matter how well we protect ourselves, the life... The voice of but on a lighter. For all their grim and haunting poses, these golden... That, my friend, I do not... Nothing. I hope...
Ah, A new face. Salve, and welcome to our little community. You arrived on a sad day, friend. What with Julia's death? I wish we could have met under better circumstances. Look, I haven't done anything wrong, if that's what you're thinking. Somebody just has a problem with my preference for male company. Hey, nothing gets by. Sorry, that was mean. And when you grow up in the north, as I did, in the city of Noviomagus, you expect a bit of hostility. But I saw enough friends killed or driven away to know the cost, so I hid who I was for, what was it, nearly 10 years? But that kind of fear eats away at you slowly, until living isn't any better than the thing you were afraid. Needless to say, since I'm now living underground, halfway across the known world, my openness didn't go down well among the enlightened folk of the but. Nice of you to say, but not in any case. The Romans are far more accepting, and among them, or at least I thought that was the case. It's not. The strange thing is, I've never really been interested in any of the men here. Not my type. So I'm not sure. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably one of those cultists. Strange bunch. They insist there's only one god, and that he considers my nature a sin. If there are any of them here, they won't admit it. Not since they supposedly burnt down half of Rome last year. All I know is, if these threats keep escalating, eventually my secret admirer is going to cross a line. Really? Who is it? You went snooping in his place? That was... Have you... I would talk to him myself, but I think that... Well, I'm an architect. Or at least I was back in Rome. That's probably too grandiose a term to describe. Would help out with repairs and try to stop old buildings from collapsing on people. But you probably don't want to hear about the ingenious... Oh, I'm glad you asked. Some of these shrines were constructed hundreds of years ago. But there's one thing that puzzles me. The oldest shrine in this avenue isn't Roman at all. It's Greek. Well, yes, that... Or it could mean that there were Greeks living and worshipping here before the Romans arrived. Who really built this place? And if only there was a way we could talk to the people who came here before us. Gladly. They're an ingenious feat of... It's funneled below the palace and into a cistern beneath the Great Temple. And the rest is funneled to the shrine of Proserpina, where it fills the lake. And hey, not so loud. Just talking about that could anger the gods for all... I'm not saying it's impossible, but you'd have to find a way inside somehow. Just... You mean the Great Temple? This one that, given the way it's positioned so prominently, looking down on us, it's... You see, usually a temple is dedicated to a particular god, like Proserpina or Diana or Apollo. Usually, that god is up. There's an obelisk out the front, which probably used to bear the name of this unknown god. But at the peak, and of course we can't get inside because it's locked up tighter than the Temple of Saturn in Rome. And that, so we're all left wondering, which god is that temple dedicated to? Unless somebody figures out a way inside. Of course. Some people, which means one of, and I'm pretty sure. Fair enough. You wouldn't, but one... Oh, I just mean I grew up in the Batavi tribe, far to the north in Noviomagus. They weren't... Some people say, which... And I'm... Good, Good question. It's best if I say no more, but... Well, my... Some people... Which... And I... Good, I'm glad it's better. Nice to...
Hey, Virgil, how much would you want to make me a bow?
For the last time, Dacius, I'm not making you a bow.
But why?
You know why.
But how am I going to defend myself against someone else with a weapon?
There are no other weapons in the city. We all went along with the magistrate's weapons ban, so it wouldn't be an issue.
That's why I've got to get in first before someone else beats me to it. Sound terrible. Certainly. All I ask is a reason. That's hardly my concern. Oh, it's perfectly legal. Simply a question of supply and demand, I'm afraid. Take it or leave it. Hear what? You sure you're feeling all right? If you're hearing... She claimed the stuff, but I digress. Very well. Perhaps I can interest you. You mean, how did I end up here? That. All right. Well, you see, I'm in the business of procuring mostly sculptures, vases, the occasional slave, fetch a magnet. Had myself a nice little shop in Rome, just off the Forum. Lots of foot traffic and close to the docks. Good place to be when the fire's... See, about 7 months ago, half of Rome caught on fire. Everyone who couldn't get to an outer gate was running for the river, hoping to escape by... So I gathered my coins and some priceless vases into a cart and had my most loyal slave girl, pretty young thing named Acantha, push it for me. All the way down to the river, I'm elbowing for a stampede of people, turning back now and then to make sure she hasn't legged it with my valuables. But, to my surprise, we make it. And I see this barge loading up, and it's so full, it's... But the captain's happy to take my coin. So I start boarding, and then he puts his hand on my chest and he says, "No, too heavy. The cart or the girl." So I did what anyone would have done. The girl? Weren't you listening? All my valuable... I mean, I can always buy a new slave girl if I... So I put my hand on the cart, and I guess she realised what was happening because those pretty black eyes... And in one swift motion, she topples the whole bloody thing into the Tiber. No, I dived in after it, of course. Aren't you paying attention? That was a bloody fort. Only, I guess I must have hit my head or something, because everything went... When I came to, I'd washed up on the riverbank, not far from here, with nothing in the world but a... Thank you, friend. But it turns... Look around you. There must be more gold in... I'm afraid some people... It's terrible for inflation. Of course, I've scouted. Oh, well... Thank you. Malio. No. Very well.
You look well, my sartorial friend. But this part of my shop is off limits. Even for you, my sartorial friend. my sartorial friend. You look well, my sartorial friend.
What is it, citizen? All right.
Ixion turns.
No idea what you're talking. Yes, so what? What are you... Yeah, that's what I thought. What?
The newly
Hunt from
arrived are
Malleolus for a
ignorant of
free
the road
drink at
before
my
them.
tavern.
No. She anyway, and now will I get? I don't. I'm Lucre. I'm my. I then. It's all and oh, where and the she's but I, one of my. I really shouldn't say. He's become so. I just. Thank. I wish. I sit but up. Oh, there but where and she's but I, one of. He's big. I. Thank. Sure. Do you really? Hemlock. I haven't seen. Glad. Where?
Salve.
That you wouldn't but what? Oh, that but I'm up it glad and hey, I'm not saying you mean you see there's an obelisk and of course so we unlet of course some people and fair enough. Oh, look. I know, and I saw, so I hit, but that cat my up. Nice it on. Straight it up. What? I'm getting somebody. Well, my nice.
Greetings and salutations. Is my you mean I well I go this when I in anything have oh of course I had they so have so if it does for but for all that my friend I nothing this is but I hope that
You, Tantalus, cannot catch the drops of water, and the tree you grasp.
Names. Can't say. No, but. God. Oh. If I did. I mean. No. Of course. No idea. Yet. And why well, I don't know. Well, I wouldn't get so angry. I don't like where you're... Smart.
Hey, Virgil, how much would you want to make me a bow?
For the last time, Dacius, I'm not making you a bow.
But why?
You know why.
But how am I going to defend myself against someone else with a weapon?
There are no other weapons in the city. We all went along with the magistrate's weapons ban, so it wouldn't be an issue.
That's why I've got to get in first before someone else beats me to it. Sir. That's odd. Oh, it's perfectly legal. Here what? But I don't... Well, if you... We agree on something. Very well. You mean how did... All right. Oh, but no. No. Thank you. Look around. I'm afraid. It's off. Oh. Thank you. Malia. Very well. Get out of here!
Isn't the great temple majestic? A new face. Interesting. Yes, I understand many of our friends were carried here by... What else? Yes, I also... What else? That's true. I know it's as I feared. I think I am... Let me ask you this. Did you happen to encounter a stranger in the forest? And did you happen to catch her name? I see. And was this Karen by any chance wearing a hood?
because I've seen her before. There's something I think you should see. I think you'd better follow me to the baths. What? How could you know that? And why are you talking to me instead of doing something? Please, go and stop him, and come back to me once.
You look well, my sartorial friend.
Help! A man arrived in the baths. A real nasty sort, with his... You have to... None of us do. The magistrate made us throw them all into the... You'll just have... Thank you. I have to... What? All right,
Stop right there. I'm looking for Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, otherwise known as Quinctius. Do you know where... Thank you. For your service to the Empire, I'll let you live for now, but you'd best...
Curse you, cultist.
I take it you've cleared the way. Follow me. But don't follow too closely. We can't have people thinking we're bathing together. All right, you're here. You were asking how I knew the young woman you met by the river was wearing a hood. Here, look down at the bottom of the baths. It's a little hard to make out in this light. If only we could see. Oh, what a marvelous lamp. But do you see it? Somebody waking up by a river in a forest to find a hooded figure with a coin. It's just as you described it, only your pronunciation is a little off. The name you heard wasn't Charon. It was C-H-A-R-O-N, as in Charon, the ferryman of the dead. Charon, who, in exchange for the right coin, helps the souls of the newly deceased cross the Styx, the river that separates the land of the living from the land of the dead.
When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, but all I found was some loose change. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
I'm so sorry, my friend. I'm so sorry. I take it you know what this means. I'm afraid so. It's all starting to make sense. All these people whose last memory was running from the fires toward the river. It seems none of them escaped with their lives after all. Perhaps we should be grateful they don't remember their final moments. It also tells us that the Golden Rule is the work of Pluto, the god of the underworld, and why his epithet has always been Father of Riches. I know it's a lot to take in, and you look as if you have questions, so I'll try to answer them if I can. That was my first thought too. In the old stories, the underworld was where the souls of the deceased were taken. But it was also possible for the living to reach it without dying, if they were particularly fearless. So I'm afraid I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting you're not from here. If you were Roman, or even Greek, you would. Each of them is slightly different, whether the storyteller was Plato, Homer, Virgil, or Ovid. But they always involved the souls of the dead, meeting a grim It was said that he'd help the new arrival cross, only if they could pay him with a coin. That's why it was once our custom to bury our loved ones with a coin in their mouths. Charon's, of course, an obol was a kind of Greek coin, because we... To be fair, the ferryman isn't exactly as the poets described, and he, she, they seem to appear... You say you saw a young woman, and I once heard Kabash mention a stranger in a ram headdress, and Rufius described meeting a stranger named Kumut Tabal wearing an But whatever form this stranger took, they were always wearing a hood of some sort, and their name always... I suspect the only way you'll solve... Good question. Let's see. In the stories, Charon would always require... But that never made any sense to me. What does an... In our case, it seems Charon didn't take the coins we had. He or she merely checked we had one in our possession. So, maybe there's something special about the coins each of us had on us. That might explain why we wound up here, but so many others did not. No. I mean, I had my suspicions, especially after Livia's ramblings. Now that we know where we are, we have to figure out what to do about it. If we don't want to become... We don't have much to go on, except the old stories. I remember Hercules, the demigod and son of Jupiter, Orpheus, a Thracian poet, Sisyphus, a king of Ephyra, and Aeneas, a Trojan hero. Hercules was able to leave the underworld because he cowed its god with his strength. Sisyphus and Orpheus both relied on their wits instead. They persuaded the goddess of the underworld, Proserpina, to help them escape. And finally, Aeneas was able to escape with the help of a spirit guide. So it seems you have two options: to confront the god of the underworld head-on, or find a way to escape with the help of Proserpina or some other guide. It's a reasonable question, But the problem is, this place is fairly well designed to keep us here. There's no... And even if you could build a ladder big enough, just trying it would break the golden rule. We know that, thanks to the writings left behind by those who... All Romans try to avoid saying it, and the reason is quite simple. You may refer to him as Pluto, if you wish, but you'll only be calling attention. Shh! It's everyone! That option would be the boldest, but also the only way to learn the truth about the Golden Rule. As I said, Hercules managed to overpower the god of the underworld, but he was a demigod. Are you telling me that you... I won't pretend to understand exactly what that means. So, if you want to confront... Who knows? Perhaps your name will be uttered in the same sense, but first, you'd need an audience with you-know-who, and for that, you'll need to enter the Great Temple. The problem is, the door has been sealed shut for as long as I've lived here, and there doesn't even seem to be a keyhole. I suspect the answer lies in the desecrated obelisk in front of it. I'm not sure if you noticed, but it looks as though somebody, or a series of somebodies, forcibly removed them, and in doing so, if you could recover and replace all 4 of those missing plaques. It's the towering stone monument with 4 sides and a pyramid-shaped head that stand... However, this one is unusual in that each of the 4 sides is decorated in a different style. Roman, that means you'll need to recover 4 different plaques. Good question. It would have had the god's name engraved into it, so it may be that whoever desecrated it, and there's only one group of people. There's a cult in Rome that often argued there is only one. They've been known to start fires, as well as deface. If I were you, I'd go looking for them. Of course, but I did hear a rumor they have a secret shrine somewhere in the city. Perhaps... I don't know. But perhaps you should begin your search with the local Greek fellow, Georgius. His store is in the Forum. Perhaps Kabash, but I did hear or read... I'm afraid you're on your own with that one. As I mentioned, both Orpheus and Sisyphus were said to have persuaded Proserpina to help them. The problem is, those are the stories of a poet, a self-aggrandizing king, and a brawler about their own heroic deed. First, Proserpina. What we do know about, it's said, the god of the underworld abducted and dragged her here against her will, forcing her into marriage. If the stories are true, the problem is, how do we communicate with her without... Leaving that aside for a moment, there is also the possibility of a spirit guide. I don't suppose you've come across one of those in your travels? Truly? And you're only bringing this up now? Then again, I suppose you were worried I'd think you were as mad. Can you tell me more? Is it the same voice? Fascinating. Perhaps she is a benevolent spirit. Or perhaps, if she has indeed been abducted, it would make sense for her to speak in crypt. Tell me, has she told you anything that might lead you to the way? Oh, I see. All right. As for Livia, it seems she's been shouldering the weight of this terrible secret all this time. In any case, may fortune...
You there? I'm sorry to trouble you, but I couldn't help but notice that fine no idea how you managed to get your hands on it, especially in the light of our dear old magistrate's bag. And before you ask, no, I wouldn't dream of trying to buy it from you. I have no use for a wooden bow myself. But I would like to propose a joint... Tell me, do you have any idea how people here end up as golden statues? And here I was thinking I was the only one to figure it out. In any case, supposedly, 1 or 2 of those arrows is enough to turn a full-grown man into gold. Now, of course, that is a travesty, a terrible, horrible waste of human life, which has to be stopped. And yet, on the other hand, I can't help but think of a tale told by that Greek fella Aesop, the goose that laid the golden egg. With the ability to transmute organic matter into gold, one could create infinite wealth. Use your imagination. Golden animals, insects, trees and plants. The Midas touch without the drawbacks. We are talking riches beyond imagining. And even if we were to split all those riches between the 2 of us, half of infinite wealth is still infinite. Interested? Look, I might have skimmed over that one, but don't be so pedantic. Are you interested or not? Excellent. So the first question is, how do we get our hands on one of those golden bows? Now, I have a plan, but first, tell me, are you familiar with the story of the goddess Diana? No problem. Allow me to explain. Diana is our goddess of the hunt, the moon, and the underworld, depending on who. The one thing priests and poets agree on is that she carried with her a golden bow and a quiver of... And it just so happens that there is a shrine of Diana in this very forum, with a prominent statue of the goddess herself. And would you like to guess what she's holding in her hand? Precisely. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent in that temple staring at it, trying to figure out how to retrieve it without breaking you-know-what. Oh, gods, no. If you tried that, we'd all be dead within moments, I'm sure. No, here's what I propose. You give your bow to me, I cover it in a thin layer of gold leaf, and we create a replica of a golden bow. Then you enter the shrine, extinguish the braziers, and under cover of darkness, swap out the fake for the original. It's not theft exactly, it's more of a trade. But make no mistake, this is a dangerous path, and there's no way of knowing where it will lead. But in my experience, all the best adventures begin with a risky first step. I'm more of an ideas man, whereas you're obviously the more... When Prometheus... Only because he was silly enough to get caught. Because the gods would see you, of course. Hence... So... Are you sure? Wonderful. Now, this is a quality... And here we are. Now I've gone and unlocked the Shrine of Diana for you, so as quick as you can, head on inside. It's just at the end of the street on the left. May the gods not watch over you. Is that you, partner? Do you have the bow? Wonderful. Just go ahead and slide it under the door for me and I'll unlock it for you. A little bit slow, aren't you? Yes, I locked you in, and until you give me my bow, you're gonna stay in there, like Tantalus in Tartarus. No, technically, I never said that. I said, if we were to split all those riches between... It's hardly my fault if you can't tell the difference between a hypothetical and a promise, now is it? Oh, I do love a good loophole. You're just gonna have to take your chances, I'm afraid. The bow, now. And don't even think about giving me the fake one. I'll recognise my own handiwork. I would reconsider my position quickly if I were you. I'm not sure if you noticed, but you're stuck in there with a hornet's nest, and they can be rather aggressive toward intruders. You know, some say it takes 27 hornet stings to kill a man, but I always wondered how anyone could have known that. Let's find out if they were right, shall we?
My beloved Galatea, I write this so that one day, when we're finally together, my beloved Galatea, I write this so that one day, when we're finally together, you will understand what I've done and why I had to do it. The others will call me mad or a monster, but I don't care what they think. Everything I'm doing here, I'm doing for you. I'll start at the beginning. Soon after my arrival here, as I walked down a corridor lined with golden statues, I thought I heard a whisper behind me, a rasp of air, as if vocal cords of metal strained to say a word or two. I tried to dismiss the idea, tried to concentrate on my work as the city's medic, but that tortured whisper haunted me. Weeks later, in the hallway to the bathhouse, I heard it again and found myself drawn to the statue of a Roman woman wearing a stola. Her face was contorted with anguish and fear, and disturbingly, it was as if she was looking right at me. As I walked past her, I heard that strange whisper again, and turning back, I discovered that even though I had moved, she was still looking right into my soul. That was when it dawned on me. This was no statue. This was a woman trapped within that golden prison. Naturally, I told the others, but when I could not reproduce the results of my experiment, they would not believe me. But from that moment on, I knew the full horror of this place. Immobilized within these statues are living human beings. It was that day, my love, that my heart broke. My beloved Galatea, after I learned the terrible truth about the golden statues, I wandered the city as if in a nightmare. What must life be like for these poor souls, entombed in gold, but kept alive somehow? Trapped in their own personal Tartarus, consigned to eternal torment, too horrific for any sane mind to comprehend. I tried to offer them what small mercies I could. I began to talk to them, to keep them company. I'd imagine backstories for them, give them names, and tell them of the world, of the histories and stories I'd learned as a child. As the others became more concerned by my charity, I sought solitude from them, preferring the company of my tormented charges. Discovering a way into the abandoned palace, I began to spend my days walking its halls and sharing with its occupants ancient tales, my mind turning to those of Apollo and Daphne, Perseus and Medusa, and Pygmalion and Galatea. Pygmalion, the spectre who fell in love with the statue, and who, praying to Aphrodite for aid, discovered that his beloved Galatea had come to life. It was then that I heard you whisper to me, Galatea. Forgive me. I know that is not your real name, just one I have borrowed from a story. But when I turn to look at you, I see the most exquisitely beautiful woman I've ever known. Your face, forever frozen in a look of haunting sadness. Our meeting gave me new purpose, to free you from your golden prison, so that I might one day hear you speak, not just whisper your true name to me. So I gathered tools for the long and difficult task ahead, barred the doors to this place, and set to work. My beloved Galatea, my attempts at freeing these souls from their golden prisons have not been going to plan. My first charge was a Greek woman who I called Iodame after the Athenian turned to stone by Medusa. Drilling through the gold that encased her, I was vindicated by the discovery that beneath half an inch of gold, which is so rigid it must be some kind of alloy, was living flesh. Unfortunately, this golden alloy seems to have fused with her skin, so removing it exposed the sinew and muscle beneath and appeared to cause her great pain. At first, I braced myself, expecting that inflicting such pain would break the golden rule, and yet, somehow, it did not. It seems whichever god is responsible for imprisoning these poor souls does not care about their suffering at all. They are forsaken. Undeterred, I pressed on, working late into the night, attempting to remove the golden layer that encased her as delicately as I could. Eventually, I was able to free most of her body, but when I released her from her restraints, her first act was to lunge for my throat, clawing at me with all her strength in those sharp metal talons. This was my thanks for trying to save her. Whatever possessed Iodame to attack, she was clearly not a suitable subject for my experiment, and I was forced to lock her inside an isolated wing of the palace and bar the door. As I continued working on others, I could hear her flailing and launching herself at the other side endlessly. Regrettably, my other experiments bore similar results, and after relocating a few times, most of the palace is now too dangerous to work in. Still, as much as my heart aches to know that you're suffering, I cannot risk attempting to ungild you yet. Not until I have perfected a method that will bring you back to me, whole in both mind and body, and ensuring your humanity is preserved. I promise you this. One day we will be together, even if I have to free every last statue in this god's forsaken place. you must be the wretched snake who broke into my palace and disturbed my experiments. And worst of all, look at what you made me do to her. This never would have happened if you just stayed away. You're going to pay for that. And do you think I care about that? I don't care what happens to me, as long as you get what you deserve. Liar! I locked and barred the gate. I left a message warning you all to leave me alone. I just wanted to do my experiments in peace, for her. And now look at her. You made me turn the most beautiful woman I've ever seen into this. Look at her. She's in agony. All I wanted was to spend my last moments with her, to see her beautiful face, to hear her speak freely, instead of in those cryptic whispers. But as soon as I began my work, she stopped whispering to me. And now I discover she started whispering to you instead. What's so special about you? What do you mean, the same voice? Yes. I remember when they used to whisper to me. They did sound similar. I just thought it was because all voices sound the same when they whisper. But now that I think about it, they were all benevolent and seemed to share a common knowledge. But if these bodies are mere conduits for that one voice, then this body is nobody. And everything I've done here was... Wait, I see what you're doing. You're trying to steal her away from me. Were you planning to wait until I'd done all the hard work, then swoop in? Is that it? Liar! You tried to steal her away from me, and now look what you made me do. Give me one good reason why I shouldn't peel you, too. What? What are you talking about? Wait. So you're saying you weren't coming for us? So I did all this. I ruined her. For nothing. What have I done? Oh God, I feel sick. I can't bear the thought of her being like this. And in so much pain. It's the air coming into contact with her flesh. It's agonizing for them. But the only way to fix it will be to break the golden rule and let it run its course. At least that way she'd be golden again, and we'd be together. All it would take is one little cut. It's too late. There's nothing you can do. I have to do this. I'm sorry. What? Wind back time? What are you talking about? What? How is that possible? The goddess of the cycle of life and renewal, of course. But I'm confused. If you've harnessed the secrets of the gods, why tell me? I see. Well, I'll trust you to honor our bargain. But if you don't, mark my words, I'll break the golden rule and kill you and everyone else in this city. The treatment for rheumatism is willow bark. I believe there's a pot of it already in the Shrine of Apollo. Now, please leave. The door here leads out onto the palace balcony. You should be able to make your way down from there. Go, and never return.
I hope you're taking care of yourself. Salve, friend. It seems you've joined us at a very sad time. We lost a troubled young man today. Oh, he found himself in quite a lot of debt he was unable to repay, and was forced into debt, but it doesn't do us any good to dwell. Welcome to life under we've all... I used to lay awake. I still... Here, in this place. Oh, my... We were a scuff. I woke up... Oh, that... If you like. I'm afraid I don't... But if that... I hope it... The many shall suffer. I'd like to put on the other, and that's... You don't think... Innocent... Please. There was a terrible... Even if I had seen it, and I'm not saying I have, I couldn't in good conscience give it to you. Oh, so soon? Salve, friend.
Ave. Certain. May for...
Feeling all right? You made it into the palace. Willowback. I should have known. It was I have some right here. Could you do me a favor and give him some of this? He'll just need to Thank you. All right.
You look well, my sartorial friend.
Sometimes I stare at the great temple on the bluff, and I think You went. Have you... I would... Nice to...
Hello? My name's Dooley. I don't know. Yes, but I was. They said I did it more than once. But yes. They said I have to live here now. What does it say? My treasure! My friend Hannibal used to look after me. And he said if anything ever happened to him, I had to find. He gave me this key and made me promise to keep it safe. And now nobody looks after me. Except my friend Galerius. And Hannibal said I shouldn't give it to anyone I didn't trust. But Galerius already tried that. Like, Galerius? He's nice. I like Galerius. If you help make him magistrate, he can get me out of here. Hannibal said it. You're going... Galerius. What about... Like, if you... Hannibal... Go. Bye-bye.
Salve.
That lamp! Never have I seen its equal. Greetings and salutations. Hello. And in a city, my name, I am at but the plane and be. I hope.
Horatius.
Horatius? Looking a bit troubled there.
Still no sign of Scintilla. And I haven't slept right in 3 weeks.
Don't be too hard on yourself.
Hello there, partner.
From what I hear, nobody's...
I'm glad you're here. You see, my
Anyway,
plan was to give
I
you a
thought
little
you
fright.
Stoics
You know,
weren't
like
supposed to
two
worry
friends
about
joking
things you
around
can't
at the Saturn.
control.
But when I opened it...
Yeah, but I keep thinking, what if there is something
Partner,
I can
I
do?
swear.
What if she's out there somewhere, suffering, waiting to be found?
Very well. Sounds like you're torturing yourself. Leave that for the gods.
Wow.
Try to
Isn't that
relax.
a big long bow?
Tomorrow's a new day.
I suppose you're right.
I have nothing to say.
What is it? All right?
Ah, it's you again. Now. Well, I'm a farmer. Always have been. One day, when I was about 20, my father told me to run into the house for his axe, and so I did. But by the time I got back, my mother, more raiding started before. One night, when my sister, I got my father's old axe. But there were more. My home was reduced to ash. My sister's dead. Yeah, well, unfortunately, they were just... I spent a few years working for my new... Tried to escape. I'd probably still be there, too, if it wasn't for the stampedes breaking out. Everybody was running down toward the river, screaming and shouting. I got swept up with them somehow. The next thing I knew, some stranger was dragging me out of a river. That's... See, I find... Until Sentius the Decurion demanded I hand over all my produce. It's for the good of us all, he says. He even told me if I refuse his demands, so it turns out... But don't you worry. Forget I said that last part, will you? I get... Thanks, Fred. Anyway, that... Well, but if anyone knows for sure... Oh, but I... even I could do... I'd bounce the idea, but from what I hear, maybe that's not such a bad thing. Because Sentius put it... It's nonsense. And how could you know that? You overheard him say that? Oh, well, in that case, if you can do that,